Hello and welcome back to the Sports Sermon. I'm Dylan Staggy.
I'm Jason Gandhi.
I'm Dan Majors.
I'm John Majors.
I'm Zach Munson.
And we are back today for a heated debate. Today we are talking about Notre Dame football. And we have three huge Notre Dame fans.
Let's go!
And Jason.
One that couldn't care less about Notre Dame football.
But he's going to hate him for today.
Would be closer to a hater than a lover, for sure.
And me, who just... I'm a middle guy. I'll sort out the debates between all these guys, and it'll be a fun one, I promise. But we have plenty of things to talk about Notre Dame football this season. So let's first talk about last year. Dan's got that. What do you have on last year, Dan?
Notre Dame fan number one. John's the second one, and Zach's the other one, by the way, just to clarify. Those are the three you're going to hear a lot of pro-Notre Dame stuff coming from. So take that with the bias that's coming, as they're all huge fans.
All right. Well, last year, the Irish, of course, finished 4-8.
Sucked.
That was Zach, so I don't know why that was necessary.
We sucked last year.
All right. Well, had a close loss at Texas in double overtime. Lost to Michigan State.
Wait, I'll stop right there. I just want to make it very known before we get into this. Zach told me that Texas was a top 25 team after they beat Notre Dame.
They were ranked number 10 in the AP poll.
They lost to Kansas.
You told me they were a top 25 team.
The week after they beat Notre Dame, they were top 10. I was not the only person that said that. They were top 10.
I promise you guys it's going to be a fun one. We're already
talking Texas.
Let's go. Keep it going.
They were top 10 AP people after that.
Go, Dan. Keep it going.
All right, let's keep talking about last.
A loss to Michigan State on a roaring comeback. Lost to Duke in one of the worst losses in Notre Dame history. Lost at Texas, at
you did lose
NC
at
State,
Texas, but not twice.
At NC State in
That was in a hurricane.
In a hurricane, 3-10. Lost to Stanford at home. Lost to Virginia Tech and USC in a blowout. Returnees include 15 total starters, 8 on offense, 7 on defense. Key losses on offense include Kaiser, Zaire, Folston, Torrey Hunter, Colin McGovern, and Mark Harrell. On defense, James Onwalu, Rochelle, Cole Luke, and Jerron Jones. So, let's get into the offense. John, what do you think about this great Notre Dame offense this year?
Well, first off, I want to talk about a few storylines. This is the first time since 2012 that Notre Dame is going to start the season unranked.
They're undefeated. They're going undefeated,
What
guys.
happened in
Watch
2012?
out.
What happened in 2012?
Oh my God.
We went to the title game and got blown out. Anyways, we're going to move on. Notre Dame has a new defensive coordinator, Mike Elko, new strength and conditioning coach. We're going to try and create some turnovers here. If we get away from the injury bug, we're going to be a very, very good team.
New offensive coordinator.
Yeah, we have Chip Long as the new offensive coordinator. We have an experienced offensive line.
Clean the house, basically.
And we have everyone returning on special teams and the specialists. Justin Yoon, the kicker.
The GOAT.
Tyler Newsome, the punter. C.J. Sanders, who is an electric returner. He's coming back. But the offense, it's looking strong. Kaiser is going to be someone that we could possibly miss with experience. Brandon Wimbush. Brandon Wimbush has potential to be even better. Equanimous St. Brown is going to be a stud. And Alize Mack is back from his suspension. Put him on the other side.
Free Alize Mack.
Equanimous St. Brown and Alize Mack on opposite sides of the field in the red zone. Watch out.
All right. So, Notre Dame, 4 starters on the offensive line are returning. Left tackle Mike McGlinchey, who will probably be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Left guard Quentin Nelson, which will be a first-round pick in next year's NFL draft. Thank God they both decided to stay for next year. Then you have Sam Mustipher, who will be a more consistent center this season after his first year as a starter last year.
Snap the ball to his quarterback.
Exactly. Then, running back. I'm so excited about running back because we're so stacked. We got junior Josh Adams, who's a beast, rushed for 1,768 yards and 11 touchdowns last year, averaged 6.4 yards a carry. Then you got Dexter Williams, who has a speed, and we're so deep in that position. Then you got wide receiver, Equanimous St. Brown. He was a beast last year, had like 1 catch in his freshman year, I think, and then totally broke out last year. 961 yards, 9 touchdowns. I think he'll be in the NFL in a few years, if not after next year. Then, sophomore receiver Chase Claypool. I love Chase Claypool. Has size, speed, hands. I love him. He flashed potential on his athleticism on coverage teams. Then Alize Jones.
Mac.
Alize Mack. I meant to say Alize Mack. Free Alize Mack. He got the size, the speed, and everything. I'm so excited about our offense, which we'll get into the quarterback situation in a little bit, but that's just it.
Yep, one of the best offenses in the country.
Oh my God.
Running game will be solid this year behind one of the best offensive lines. Mike McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson, obviously, as you guys talked about. Josh Adams, a running back, put up almost 1,000 yards rushing on 158 carries. Equinemy St. Brown also returns. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the country. Alize Mack is back after coming off of a suspension. I think he will have a breakout year.
All right, Dylan, you ready to kind of lower the expectations a little bit?
You can go first.
All right, the
That's all
O-line.
potential right there, bud. I'm realistic with their wins and losses.
That's awesome. So, Zach, you said they're loaded running back, but name 2 people. And
Dexter.
Okay, Tony Jones Jr. did not play last year. He was redshirted. He played really well in the spring game, and also in summer practices. He's looking really good.
All right. Either way, Josh Adams is the guy. It's like the only one that matters at running back. He's
What?
He's gonna be the
That's
workhorse.
Are you
in the
serious?
backfield.
Doesn't
Dexter
matter
Williams
who's
is a
behind
beast.
that offensive line.
It's
Did
on
you
second.
watch? Did you watch the game last
The
year?
O-line's going to be phenomenal, as you said. Mike McGlinchey, Quentin Nelson are easy first round, second round NFL prospects, no doubt. The X factor comes down to, which kind of goes into our next thing. It's going to be Wimbush. It's going to be really up to how well he can play, and that's going to depend how well the offense is. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan. I think he's got options available. I just don't know if he's going to be able to execute that well. And so, I don't know. I'm just not that high on them. I don't think they're going to be bad. They're not going to be 4-8 again, but I'm just not as high as one of the best offenses in the country. And
They're
so
not going to be
deep
one
at
of the
running
best
back.
offenses in the country. That's false statement.
Dan just said
They have
that.
potential,
that was
but they're
false.
not going to be.
Right.
I
That was
see-
false.
I see like a second or
He
third
meant
tier,
potential, by the way.
second or third tier offense for Notre Dame. Obviously, the thing's gonna be Brandon Wimbush. Obviously, Josh Adams behind that great offensive line. Gonna be fantastic next year. The wide receiver Equinemy St. Brown, but not a lot of stuff behind that. Not a lot of really
Chase Claypool.
depth.
No, you're wrong about that. They're loaded wide receivers.
They are
They're
loaded.
Not a lot of experience.
Holmes.
They
Holmes.
lost Torrey Hunter Jr. and Corey Holmes.
Torrey Hunter Jr. was trash.
No, he
That's
wasn't.
a false
That's
statement.
just wrong.
Bro,
Hunter
he
Jr. had
was not that
injuries.
good. He was
injured.
decent. He was decent. He was decent.
Good.
He was
had
decent.
concussion
He was
issues.
injured all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, he was decent.
Yeah, if he wasn't hurt all the time, he would have been pretty good.
I still
Anyways,
think,
Corey Holmes left. We didn't need him. We have Miles Boykin, who's got size as well, could have a good year. And then Chase Claypool, I agree with
C.J.
you, Zach.
Holmes is
Chase
back.
Claypool,
I just
Chase
see,
and C.J. Holmes too.
CJ Holmes
He's a
is
freshman. He's gonna be a
he's a
running
running back.
he's over. the
Bro.
top.
Watch this.
I just don't see a lot of experience on this Notre Dame offense. I
And
mean,
C.J. Sanders too.
Yeah. So
Okay,
that's what I
either
meant.
way-
CJ
Either way,
Sanders.
Dylan's right. There's not much experience. Miles Boykin and Chase
That's false.
Claypool.
There's a lot of experience at receiver.
You only lose 2 guys in 300.
and
They all got playing time. They have experience. That's crucial in college football.
I go on. Go on, say.
I mean, not a ton really behind. I just don't see it. The wide receiver, Brandon Wimbush, a first-year quarterback, not gonna be great at least right away throwing to them. I see like a second or third tier offense for Notre Dame. They're definitely gonna be good, but not the best offense in the country, anywhere near that.
All right. Well, let's move on to will the Irish miss Kaiser, and if so, will Wimbush make up for it? John, what do you think?
To start out, maybe we'll miss Kaiser, but in crucial situations last year, the year before, he was really good in crucial situations.
He fell
Like
short.
against Stanford and Virginia, but last year he didn't really show the clutch factor that we needed. Wimbush, I believe, is going to have a really good year. Not like Heisman stuff like a lot of people think he could possibly do, but he's going to have a solid season. I believe he'll come back the year after, too.
Yeah, obviously Notre Dame's success does rely on Brandon Wimbush. Okay, Kaiser is a great quarterback, and I think he could be a good starter in the NFL. Great size, great arm, and everything. But a ton of our games were lost within 7 points, and he so many times did not come up clutch in situations that we needed him to be, and that got me really mad because I knew he could. He has the potential to do that, but
The year before, he was really good.
right, I knew he had the potential, but he just did not come up clutch, and that could be with the quarterback battle, Malik Zaire, Brian Kelly always threatening to bench him, which could have gotten his head, but I was just mad at the clutch factor. But Brandon Wimbush, coming out of high school, was number 46 in the nation. I know he's not in high school anymore, but people think was better than Zaire and Kaiser, and I think he will be. Pretty good size. I mean, about 6'2", 226. I like him a lot, and dual threat quarterback, which is what college football is based around. And I don't think we'll miss Kaiser that much at all because he led to a 4-8 season last year. I like Wimbush a lot.
Yeah, he can't do any worse than that. And also, Wimbush is a much better runner than Kaiser. Might not be as big, but he's a better runner.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Notre Dame's going to miss Kaiser a lot. Dan wants to go, though. Dan has a lot to say about this. What do you think?
Well, people were already saying last year, like Zach said, Wimbush was already better than both Kaiser and Zaire, but decided to redshirt him instead. Kaiser had a great arm, but Wimbush will make up for that just fine. John, you think Wimbush has a better arm?
Yes, he has a stronger arm. If you've seen in high school, he has tape of him throwing over 70 yards in a game. He's got a very, very strong arm.
So I think Wimbush will have the potential to live up to the hype, in my opinion.
I don't think he does this year. I think he kind of has a similar season that Kaiser did last year. Like, shows a lot of potential, but doesn't really get it right away. But the pieces around him are definitely going to be better, so I think he will have a better season, but not anything, like, fantastic. He's not going to be competing for the Heisman or anywhere near that. Not going to be a
I agree with that,
top
obviously.
quarterback in college football. But I think he'll be solid, but Notre Dame's definitely going to miss Deshaun Kaiser. They talked about him being a top 3 pick in the NFL at one point. Obviously, he slipped down in the second round with questions about his leadership and was he ready. But Brian Kelly even wanted Deshaun Kaiser to stay another year. I think he would have been perfect for Notre Dame this year, and they would have been one of the top offenses in college football. Now I think they drop a level with Brandon Wimbush.
That's the thing. Kaiser, he knew Wimbush was behind him, and that's another reason
He
why
left way too early.
But that's
He
the
needed
reason
more
why he
development.
left. He knew he wasn't going to
Yeah.
get a lot of playing time with Wimbush behind him.
Even Brian Kelly said that he needed more development, and he still left.
But, I mean, if you have a guy who's going to be better than you and get more playing time, it was his time to leave. He saw a second-round grade. He got it, and now he's with the Browns. He has potential to do something in the NFL.
I mean, I'm just not buying the hype. You guys, like, barely seen this guy play. Yeah, I get he was good coming out of high school. Yeah, 2007, the number 1 recruit was Jimmy Clausen. How did he work out? Like, these guys
They
don't
had
always.
a terrible team around him.
Golden Tate, an NFL number 1 receiver for a team.
Did you not see that offensive line?
That doesn't matter if
He
you
got
have.
sacked like every other play.
That's phenomenal. If you have one of the best receivers in the NFL, he is
You
a.
get sacked
You
every
get
time.
sacked every play.
He's not
That's why
getting
Christian
sacked every
Hackenberg
time.
sucked.
No,
His
that's-
offensive line was
No,
pathetic.
Jimmy Clausen. There's guys all the time that come out of high school that are supposed to be this good and aren't. So I'm not buying it just based on a high school. Yes, he has experience with the run pass option, and he has a ton of large targets to see. The spring game does not mean stuff, Dan. Yes, it is good to look at stuff. It's the same thing with summer league and basketball. Yeah, it gives you little things here and there, but it's not like you're gonna put all my eggs into this because he played well in summer league or he played good in the spring
You
game.
still saw him play. You still saw the way he played, how good he is.
It's
I mean,
a
it could
spring
be.
game. It's not like he's playing.
Yeah,
against-
it's only a spring game.
Yeah,
I'm with Jason
I'm
on
not
that.
saying.
Yeah, but you can still see the talent he has.
People win and lose jobs in the spring game.
Yeah.
It matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter.
No, it
I'm
definitely
saying-
matters, but just like
It's not a perfect indicator.
You
of
can't
how
tell me
well
this
they're
guy's gonna be
do.
good because he looked good in the spring game. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just how it
That's
works.
false.
That is facts. Look, if you look at the NBA, Malcolm Brogdon.
That is so.
How is that different? Summer league and a spring game. How is this different? You're practicing and going on scrimmages, basically. How is this different?
Okay, well, spring game, you're playing your own team.
Which is even
First.
less of a competition than playing other
You've
teams.
seen their defense the whole time. They've seen your offense the entire time. And
I'd hope you
at
play
Notre
well.
Dame, this is different. Not all teams do this. At Notre Dame, the defense and the offense, they know each other's plays like the coaches do, and they do it so the quarterback can go through a certain tendency and have that certain blitz on them and see how they react. That's how it is.
So they know what's coming.
No, the quarterback has no idea. But the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator know what's happening. They have it set up
Okay.
beforehand.
The players don't know that.
No, so
So
they
that's
see how they
irrelevant.
do.
So that's irrelevant, though. I'm saying I would much rather go up against teams That summer league is much more valuable than a spring game. Is what I'm saying. If you look at any team you're playing,
Well, let's not argue about this. This is kind of irrelevant.
I'm just saying. You cannot tell me Wimbush is going to be good because he looked good in one game that lasted an hour. No, you cannot tell me that. That is one game. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible. I'm saying that you're going to miss Kaiser more than you think, and just because he wasn't clutch or whatever, you guys were Dan, you told me he was going to be the Heisman last year.
No, I did
yes,
not.
check.
I said he was a dark horse Heisman.
That's fine. You told me he's a Heisman candidate. You guys, Notre Dame fans, were all over Deshaun Kaiser coming into last year and how he was going to be the greatest thing ever. Now you guys are quick to get rid of him.
A ton of people had him as a dark horse.
I'm not disagreeing. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. But now that it's gone, we're not going to miss him at all. If he's a dark horse Heisman candidate, you're sure as heck going to miss him unless you're telling me.
No, but that's before how the season played out, though. We saw him lose in so many clutch situations. We don't want that back.
You don't want that. But 2015 was all about him. You saw him.
Right, but now we had another full season of him.
Yeah.
And now we know more about him.
Yeah.
That's why he won the second round. That's why he wasn't a first round pick.
That's not why he was a first round pick at all. Actually, it was not because of his season last year. It was due to his eyes.
It wasn't all big. It was a big portion. People
all
question his winning mentality.
He had all the tools to be a really good NFL quarterback.
Yes, that's been the thing since he was in high school. People said Kaiser is going to be a good. Dan, you're not believing me. Check it out.
In high school, he was like a 3-star coming out.
He was a
4-star recruit.
He was Elite 11. He wasn't elite.
I'm saying,
quarterback.
check
He
it
was.
out.
Elite 11.
He was told. He was said
always going to be really, really
no.
good.
They said he had a good body to be an NFL quarterback coming out of high school. That's always been
And
a
then
thing.
in the spring game before that, when it was Wilson and Zaire, he did terrible.
That's my point. It doesn't matter. And then you guys were all loving him when he balled out in the regular season. The spring game does not matter. Just like Summer League does not matter.
So
and spring training does not matter. Yes, they're important to look at and get notions of, oh, this guy always rolls to the right, or this guy always shoots from the left wing, or whatever, but you cannot tell me he's going to be good or bad based on one game, or 10 games, or how many in spring training. You cannot base everything off of never seeing the guy play. It is too quick to tell me you're not going to miss Kaiser, because Wimbush might be good.
Okay, Summer League is also different because those guys you are not going to be playing against, most of them. You're
not going to be playing against Notre Dame's defense.
You're going to be playing guys like them, at least that same skill level.
Yeah.
Summer League and the NBA are totally different. You're playing LeBron James, and then you're playing, Xander Blue?
Okay.
On the Lakers?
Vanderbilt, don't disrespect him like that.
Vanderbilt.
But,
So
okay.
that's a difference.
Okay,
So you're
spring
playing
training.
guys who are actually
Spring training. What's the difference there? No one looks at spring training and goes, oh, this guy's hitting well. He's going to be the GOAT now. Like,
They
spring
play
training.
the same competition.
That's my point. Is no one looks at it and goes, "Oh, he's going to be good because he has potential." Like,
Yes, they do.
not all the time. Not like this. They don't say, "Oh, you're not going to miss Alex Rodriguez because we got this third baseman from the Yankees coming up." Like, you don't have these. You cannot tell me you're not going to miss one of the best quarterbacks. You cannot tell me you're not going to miss one of the best college quarterbacks in college. No matter what you want to say, he was one of the best college quarterbacks. You're not going to miss him because this guy looked good in one game.
I'm not going to miss his clutch factor.
The only thing that we're going to miss is experience to start out.
Yeah.
To start out, you're not going to gain that in 3 games. When the season ramps up and you're playing hard teams, oh, now you're going to figure it out. Good. Sounds great.
How do you think Jason, how do you think Wimbush will do this year?
I think he'll be average. I don't think he's going to be bad. I'm not saying he'll be bad. I'm saying he's not going to make up for Kaiser, and you guys aren't going to go, glad we have this guy instead of Kaiser. Like, I think he'll be average.
Do you think he'll win more games than Kaiser, though?
Winning and losing is not based on the quarterback. That is a team
Kaiser
thing.
did what's best for him, and Wimbush has the opportunity. So this is what's
Winning
going to
and
happen.
losing is...
It's not 100% on the quarterback
all
at
the
all.
blame is not 100%, but they take
Your
the
guys'
blame.
defense last year was horrid.
Oh,
Michigan State put up
Don't even get me on how bad our defense was last year. It was terrible.
That's what I'm saying. Michigan State put up 30-plus points on you guys. So it's not like it was all Kaiser's fault. Could he have played better? Yes, don't get me wrong. But you're going to miss Deshaun Kaiser more than you guys want to admit because Brandon Wimbush is not going to be this good. He's going to be an average to better quarterback in college. That's all he's going to be. He's not going to be some great prodigy.
We'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think
I never said he was going to be a great prodigy. But he
Better than Kaiser. But Kaiser's a borderline first-round pick. What's that saying about Wimbush?
has
He
the
wasn't
potential to do that, but
Better? That means he's a lock in the first round.
no, he's not locked in the first round. He hasn't even played that much.
That's my point. Is you're going to miss Kaiser because this guy has never played before. You're going to miss a veteran that has experience.
How was he a borderline first-round pick when he went 52nd? Almost in the 3rd round.
Check a mock
He
draft
was
from the
projected
day
to go
before.
first round.
Yeah, I know that, but he wasn't, though.
But he was
He was a
borderline.
late 2nd
You're
round
not
pick.
calling him a borderline
He was a
first
late 2nd
rounder?
round pick. No, but now I know where he went, though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't get what you're saying.
I mean, before that, he was going to be a
top 3. He was the
Yeah.
What day was that when he showed? It was like the second week of the
Yeah.
season. You came up to me and showed me he was supposed to be the number 1 pick. Like,
Oh, I know, but
Yeah.
then we saw how he played.
I'm just saying you're gonna miss him more than you think. or
Okay,
more than
let's-
you
let's-
admit.
let's move on.
No,
Let's
that's
move
the thing. Kaiser had a whole lot of people out there that didn't have a whole lot of experience. Wimbush is going into
Okay.
a system with a lot of people with experience and have played before.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So that's going to help him out a lot.
I think Wimbush is gonna win more games than Kaiser. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Because it's a better team, not a better quarterback.
All right.
All right, let's move on to the defense now. Who wants to start for the defense?
Dan, you got it.
I can
All
start.
right.
Okay.
Well, new defensive coordinator Mike Elko from Wake Forest, who had a great defense a year ago. I think that'll be huge. Defensive line is really always the problem for the Irish, as they don't really recruit them very well. Ranked 70th in opponents' rushing yards a game last year. Guys like Dalen Hayes and Jerry Tiller will have to step up this year. Miles Morgan, probably a top 20 linebacker in the country, and he will be huge this year, as he led the team in tackles a year ago. Secondary is always interesting. I think if Nick Watkins and Sean Crawford stay healthy, then things will go smoothly this year. Also, the Irish were 104th in forced turnovers last year. They will need to improve on that, and they will, as Elko's defense ranked 5th in takeaways a year ago. So the talent is there. They just need the right coaching. Gary Van Gorder wasn't the guy. Let's hope Elko is.
The Irish have a very strong and deep linebacker and cornerback corps, but as we said, the defensive line is a real concern. The safeties are young and talented. Among the 11 returning defensive linemen, none recorded a sack last season, and they combined for 5.5 tackles for a loss. That needs to improve if they want to be good this year. Obviously, Dalen Hayes and Jay Hayes have the most talent and promise. Jerry Tillery could be impact player this year. Then you got, as I said earlier, Miles Morgan, who I love this year. He led the team in tackles in 94 and 4 sacks. He's returning. And then you got Greer Martini with a length, athleticism, and instincts, which can pair up with Tavon Coney, as well as Drew Tranquil, who's been moved from the strong safety to the outside linebacker spot, or the rover, whatever you want to call it. And then you got our cornerback, Nick Watkins, who came off injuries in last year. And Julian Love. Nick Watkins, I think he offers a lot of promise. And Julian Love, who was a standout freshman. Then you got Sean Crawford, who's tremendously speedy. Missed all of 2015 with ACL injury. Played terrible against Texas. And then tore his Achilles
Yeah,
in September.
Yeah,
interception and
blocked.
Dude, he got blown by so many times.
That was not him. That was Nick Coleman and Ashton White.
Okay, they're all so bad I get it confused. All right, and then like Nick Coleman's gonna be a safety turning into Nick Coleman was so bad cornerback is gonna be a safety next year. Yeah, that tells you something about it. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about special teams just real quick. Justin Yoon, I love Justin Yoon. I think he'll be a beast just like he has been in 2015, 2016, and then Tyler Newsome. He's a pretty good punter, but all right, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, on defense, defensive line does need some work. There's no doubt about it. There are 4 guys, in my opinion, that are going to have good seasons and will really help out. Miles Morgan, we all know about him, could be a really good linebacker in the country. If Nick Watkins and Sean Crawford stay healthy, for sure, they're going to be studs. Nick Watkins, if he has a good year, he has the potential to go in the first round. I know that sounds crazy, but he has the size, length, and speed to do it at the cornerback position. Crawford is undersized, but he's fast, and he plays really good defense and coverage. And then Dalen Hayes will provide the pass rush for sure. Had an incredible spring game. That might not mean a lot to you, Jason, but had an incredible spring game. Was hurt a little bit last year, but he's now a sophomore going in. He's bigger, stronger, and he's going to have a great season.
Only thing that you guys kind of didn't talk about that I think is interesting is Drew Tranquil.
I did talk about that.
No, I know. I think he'd be a good hybrid safety position, kind of like a rover.
That's what I said.
Mike Elko's big on that.
I did touch on that.
Has a lot of pieces, but I don't know. I just think if Tranquil's able to play that rover position solid and really be a big piece there. Like if he can kind of lead that secondary, because the secondary was terrible last year, like you said.
So bad.
So if he can lead there, if he can lead it as a hybrid safety rover position, then it lets the secondary kind of be able to give up more because he's doing that. And so the secondary is young but promising. But like you guys said, they need to create a pass rush. So yeah, just kind of summing everything up. I just think Tranquil is kind of the X factor on defense. If you can play that rover position well, then it opens up a lot more. It can allow the secondary to make more mistakes, which will be beneficial, obviously.
I agree. He is key to the defense.
Yeah, I definitely like what you said, Jason. A lot of talent in the secondary, but not a lot of experience. Drew Tranquil, if he can lead that group, will at least be able to be average, like you say, can make a lot more mistakes. Linebacker, definitely solid. Niles Morgan, 94 tackles last year. He'll be great this year. The problem is the defensive line, though. 11 returning defensive linemen. 0 of them recorded a sack last year. The defensive linemen are not great for Notre Dame, and they're going to have a horrible time on the defensive side, trying on that defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go into the ceiling and the floor for the Irish. John, you want to go first?
Ceiling for me is 11-1. I know a lot of Notre Dame haters think that's not possible, but a lot of people coming back, a lot of potential.
Haters are realists. It's not hating to say they're not going to go 11-1.
We're talking about ceiling.
I'm not saying
We're
they're
Oh my-
gonna go 11
It's
and
a
1.
ceiling and
That's their
floor.
ceiling.
That's a high.
With so many
ceiling.
questions
Yeah.
This is a ceiling.
And
that we
if some
don't know
people
how
get
good they're
hurt
going to be
and
with
everything, we
two
don't
new
know a lot.
coordinators.
It's called a ceiling for a reason, Jason.
I'm aware, but ceiling doesn't mean you're going to win the champion. Like I'm not saying ceiling doesn't mean it.
I
Bruh,
never said
relax.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
relax.
saying that's a high ceiling.
Relax.
Hell, a ceiling could be 14-0 and win the national championship.
All right, go on. So 11-1 is
Anyways,
your
in the
ceiling.
floor, I got 5-7.
All right. I've also got 11-1 in college football playoff. Like John said, last time ND was unranked to start the year, made it to the national championship. Not saying that's going to happen, obviously. One thing you also should look at, 7 out of the 8 losses last year were by a touchdown or less. If the Irish can learn how to finish, then this could be a special year. But then if everything goes wrong, I'd say 6-6. You can't really get worse from last year.
You hit it right on the nose, I think. I think the ceiling is 11-1, possibly college football playoff. Not saying it's going to happen at all. Not saying it's going to happen. Maybe they can go past Miami, NC State, and then pull one either USC or Stanford and beat Georgia. That's a really tall task, okay? But the floor, in my opinion, is 6-6. If they lose to Stanford, Miami, NC State, USC, Michigan State, and Georgia, I think that would be the floor. It's to be 6-6, but not going to be 4-8. I don't think. Hopefully not.
All right. My ceiling is going to be 10-2. I think 4 games: Georgia, USC, Miami, Stanford. Those 4 are going to be really tough for Notre Dame. So I think they go 8-4, losing those 4. But my ceiling is going to be 10-2. My floor probably 6-6. I think they get into a bowl game and win 2 more. Like Dan said, they're all close games that they lost last year. I think they can win a couple more of those games. It's not every year that you're going to lose 7 of 8 games when you're within a touchdown. So I think 6-6 is a reasonable floor. 10-2, I just think those 4 games they're not going to be able to win all 4 of those, or even 3 to get to 11-1, like you guys said. I think 10-2 is a reasonable ceiling.
Yeah, I went with my ceiling at 9-3. I think that's best case scenario that they can get to 9-3. I don't see them beating Georgia best case scenario. I don't see them beating Stanford best case scenario. I don't see them beating USC best case scenario. Other ones are up for grabs. The floor, I have them at 5-7. I think they'll be somewhere in between those two. 6-6, 7-5, 8-4. Probably, I have them closer to the bottom of the floor, but I don't know. I think best case scenario 9-3, worst case scenario 5-7.
All right. So let's move on to the schedule prediction. We're going to go game by game, predicting every single game. So Temple at home to start the year. John, what do you got?
Got to win. They're going to be Temple tough, but we'll beat them.
Yeah, I also got to win at home against Temple. I just don't know how we could lose this game.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame will come out strong. Easy win over Temple week 1.
I agree. No more Hassan Reddick.
All right. I also got a win here, home opener. in the first game with Campus Crossroads Project. You can't do much better. Georgia at home in week 2. John, what do you got?
Got to win. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Jacob Eason will be there with the Bulldogs, but I believe Notre Dame will pull it off. It's going to be electric. Night game. Notre Dame will win.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to this game, so I'm hoping for a win, obviously. But I'm gonna say that they lose this game. It's not easy for teams to come into Notre Dame Stadium and win, but I'm gonna say that Georgia manages to slightly beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I also have a win for Georgia here. Traveling to Notre Dame in week 2, Brandon Wimbush facing an SEC defense, and it's just his second start. I like a win for Georgia here.
I like Georgia also winning. Dan, you were big on Jacob Eason last year. I think he develops again, and they brought in a new quarterback to kind of light a fire under his butt in training camp and stuff. So I think Eason plays well, especially to start off the year, and I think he blows out the Irish.
I've also got a loss here for Notre Dame. I think this is the game of the season. Make or break. If you win here, then the season will go smoothly. If it's a blowout, then things could go downhill fast. So let's move on. At Boston College in week 3. John, what do you got?
First away game, but I got Notre Dame winning that one.
Yeah, I also got Notre Dame winning this one. Obviously, they played back in 2015 at Fenway Park. Notre Dame barely won 1916. I was a little scared in that game, but I don't expect it to be a close game this year. I think Notre Dame will easily win.
I think Boston College's defense is really good. However, Notre Dame just has too much talent on both sides of the ball for Boston College, and they get the win in week 3.
Notre Dame destroys Boston College. Boston College is terrible.
Good offense against good defense, but Indy will be mad coming off of a loss against Georgia and get the win. Let's move on. At Michigan State. John, what do you got?
I actually have a loss. I got Michigan State beating Notre Dame. This is the first primetime away game for Brandon Wimbush. Might struggle early, and I need to see the defense stop a running game first. LJ Scott could have a heyday.
I have a win for Notre Dame here at Michigan State. Michigan State was also as bad as Notre Dame last year, went 3-9. I think Michigan State will struggle again this year. I got Notre Dame winning this one.
Yeah, I don't love Michigan State, but I think Notre Dame definitely better on both sides of the ball. I think Wimbush will have a rough game, but I think it's enough to give Notre Dame the victory here.
I just pick Michigan State because it's my favorite team. I mean,
Be objective. That can't be a reason. Just be objective.
I mean, it was my reason when I picked, but I do think Michigan State will win. I like LJ Scott. He followed me on Twitter, so I mean, I have to like him, and he liked my tweet. But yeah, I mean, he's a great running back, and I think that the offense is going to take a major step up after getting rid of Tyler O'Connor. Thank God. And so I think the Spartans beat the Irish at home.
I've also got a loss for Notre Dame. On the road will be very tough. LJ Scott will run all over the terrible defensive line, and Wimbush will struggle in his first real road test. So next week is Miami of Ohio. John, what do you got?
Got to win. Not much to say. It's a win.
Okay. I got Notre Dame winning this one, especially since it's at home. I don't think it'll be a problem. I think we'll put up a lot of points this game. I got the Irish.
Yeah, definitely at home. Miami of Ohio, not anything too special. Not really an upset candidate. I think Notre Dame easily gets the victory at home.
Believe it or not, I'll actually watch this game with my family because it's a big family game for us. My cousin graduated from Notre Dame, and my aunt's like the assistant athletic director at Miami, Ohio. So it's going to be like a big family game. But I think Notre Dame comes out easily. But yeah, it's going to be a big game that I'll actually watch.
That's great.
Yeah,
thanks for telling all of YouTube that.
Alright. I've also got a win here. Shouldn't be close. Could be a team on the rise in Miami of Ohio, but this is a game you just can't lose. Got at UNC next. John, what do you got?
I got a win. I think North Carolina's going to struggle this year. Brandon Harris will throw a few interceptions, will create turnovers, and Notre Dame will get the win.
Yes, Brandon Harris will be Notre Dame's best friend this game. I expect a few interceptions, maybe a fumble. But yeah, I got Notre Dame winning this one.
Wow, Zach, we can tell you truly love Britton Harris.
Yep.
I also have a win for Notre Dame here, though. North Carolina losing a ton of their offense. Notre Dame will easily, I think, on the road, get the win versus UNC in a down year for them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think UNC is going to be too good. I think Notre Dame gets the win.
I've also got a win here. Not high on UNC after losing all of their offensive threats. We got a bye week next, and then we go into USC. Huge game for Notre Dame. John, what do you got?
I got USC winning this one. Sam Darnold will throw all over us, unfortunately, and Ronald Jones had a good game last year, and he'll have a good run game. But thank God Adoree Jackson's gone. He won't return 3 kicks, punts, whatever he did last year for touchdowns.
Who you got winning again?
I got USC winning.
Okay. Yeah, everyone, all Notre Dame fans hate USC. Huge rivals. Last year, Notre Dame lost 45-27. But that was away. So this one's home. We have improved defense, but they're still not going to win. I think USC will hand Notre Dame a loss at Notre Dame Stadium, which will suck.
Yeah, USC is going to be really good this year. Of course, Sam Darnold coming back, top NFL prospect. I like USC over Notre Dame, even though it is at Notre Dame. Going to be a close game, I think, but Sam Darnold gets the victory.
I think Sam Darnold throws all over the Irish, and it's not close. I think USC takes an easy victory.
Also got USC in this one. Darnold throws all over them, like Jason said. USC is one of the best teams in the country, and Notre Dame just really isn't there yet. Next week, coming to town, John. Yeah.
Well, you guys are really high on NC State, but I got Notre Dame winning this game. I believe that Wimbush will have a good game. Josh Adams will run over him. Bradley Chubb could create some havoc, but Notre Dame will win.
Yeah, last year's game was in a hurricane. This year we can actually pass the ball. Because like last year's game favored NC State's type of play, which is running. We're gonna run too, but I think we'll be able to pass this year, and not a hurricane. I think it'll be an easy win, especially at home. Especially at home.
I think it'll be close, but definitely not an easy win. For
Yeah,
Notre
you know
Dame.
what? It'll be an easy win. I don't think it'll be close though. I think
It
I
won't.
think
They'll win by more than 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, I don't know. I like NC State this year. I think they finished 9-3, but I think Notre Dame gets the win at home, not on the road. At home, over NC State. They'll be kind of mad after the USC game. I think they lose the week before. Come out for revenge against NC State, another home game, and get the win.
I have got the Irish losing to NC State. I think that the defense is too much for Wimbush, and so it drops the Irish to 4-4.
Wow.
I've got NC State. I've got Notre Dame in this one. I love NC State this year. A battle of a great offensive line to a great defensive line. But I like the Irish at home, getting revenge from last year. Let's move on to Wake Forest at home. John, what do you got?
I got Notre Dame winning this one. Mike Elko comes back as his defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, as being the Wake Forest's defensive coordinator last year and doing a great job. Notre Dame will create turnovers against Wake Forest and win the game.
Notre Dame at home. They're gonna get a win. Not much to say.
Yeah, Wake Forest not too solid of a team. No reason Notre Dame should be losing this, especially their third week in a row at home. They get the win versus Wake Forest pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree with Don. Pretty easy win.
Yep, also a blowout for me too. So we move on to at Miami. Big game for the Irish. John, what do you got?
I have Miami winning the Coastal Division, but I have them losing to Notre Dame. I believe Notre Dame will come out and win the game. It's going to be a tough game on the road, but Wimbush is going to do enough for the victory.
Yeah, Notre Dame won last season's game 30-27. Very close game. I also have Notre Dame going to Miami to win this one.
Yeah, I really like Miami this year. So I think Notre Dame on the road, kind of rivals. Obviously not in these last few years, but I think Miami gets the win at home.
I think that Notre Dame gets the win here. I think it's a little 3-game winning streak for them. I think they win. I don't know if Miami's going to be really motivated to win right now. I think that they'll know they're out of the playoff and they know they're in a bowl game, so they're not really pushing too hard these last few weeks of the season. So I think Notre Dame catches Miami on a off game.
I also have Notre Dame in this one. Big game for Miami this late in the year. I still think they're in playoff contention at this point, but Wimbush will have learned from how to deal with big games on the road, and the Irish get their biggest win of the year. Let's move on to Navy at home. John, what do you got?
I got Notre Dame beating Navy. I know the triple option is always an issue for Notre Dame, but the game's at home, and we will find a way to win.
Navy always plays Notre Dame really tough, and those games are always very stressful to watch. But Notre Dame at home, I got Notre Dame beating the midshipmen.
Yeah, I also like Notre Dame against Navy. It shouldn't be too much of a contest at home. Notre Dame will be motivated to still try and get into a good bowl game. I like Notre Dame at home.
I do too. I don't think Navy will be able to handle Notre Dame.
All right. I've also got a win here for Notre Dame. This is a potential upset with ND not having a good line to deal with Navy's offense, and depth could be limited this late in the year, but I think the Irish get it done. Let's move on to the last game of the year at Stanford. John, what do you got?
I got Stanford winning this one. Always a tough Stanford team coached by David Shaw. The run game is going to be really good, and their defense is going to be even better. Wimbush might struggle. I don't know. Run game is going to be an issue. We'll catch up late, but Stanford will get the win.
Yeah, I have the Cardinal winning this one. Obviously, losing McCaffrey and Solomon Thomas will be tough for them, but I think going to Stanford, I don't think the Irish can pull this one off. If they can, that would be this could potentially get him into a New Year's Six bowl if they play to their ceiling. So this is a really big game, but I don't have the Irish winning this one.
Yeah, I have Stanford in this one. Stanford just going to be too good. Notre Dame traveling cross country to play at Stanford. I think Stanford gets the win pretty easily in this one.
Yeah, I think that Stanford ends Notre Dame's season on a loss, bringing them to a 7-5 record. I think that Notre Dame is happy with the 7-5. They go to a bowl game and see what happens from there.
So, what do you guys all have? Your records? Okay, yes.
Well, I have Notre Dame losing to Stanford. Also, Notre Dame hasn't lost or has lost the last game to Stanford USC in 5 out of the last 6 years. It won't change this year. So I have Notre Dame at 8-4. Make a step in the right direction, and we can see if Elko and Long are right for the team.
What do you have on that?
I've got them at 9-3.
Yeah, I also have 9-3.
I have 8-4.
I have 7-5.
All right. I think. Any last
Any
thoughts?
other thoughts on Notre Dame football?
Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got Summer League we posted today as well, and then tomorrow we've got some Big Ten action coming for you. We posted the ACC a few days ago, so make sure you go check out that. And then, yeah, more Big Ten. Fantasy football is coming out on Saturday, so big stuff coming up on the sports tournament.
Yeah, stay tuned. We've got plenty of football coverage, especially as we go into late July, early August, as football season starts to ramp up. Make sure you guys stay tuned by hitting that subscribe button. Hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and follow us on Twitter to find out every time we post a new video or a new article on our website. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see you tomorrow.